Falcons fans, wake up! This might be the most excited you've been since the days of MVP Matt Ryan. A new era is here, and it starts with one name, Michael Penix Jr. The hype is real, the belief is growing, and this could be the beginning of something legendary in Atlanta. Let's talk about why Penix isn't just another draft pick. He could be the face of the Falcons for the next decade. For the first time in almost 10 years, there's real powerful excitement in Atlanta. And no, we're not just talking about off-season buzz or media hype. We're talking about Falcons fans actually believing in their quarterback again. Let's rewind the clock. The last time this city felt something this real? It was back in 2017 when Matt Ryan had just come off his MVP season. That was a time when the entire fan base was fully locked in, proud and confident in their QB1. Since then, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of, maybe this guy will work. From veterans like Marcus Mariota to last year's hope with Kirk Cousins, fans were curious, maybe even optimistic. But fully sold? Not quite. But now, something feels different. Michael Penix Jr. is the name on everyone's lips, and it's not just fluff. Everywhere you go online, Twitter, Instagram, sports talk shows, you see the same message. Penix is the breakout star to watch. And the best part? This isn't just clickbait. It's not some recycled summer storyline. This is something real, something that feels like it's just starting to bloom. Even in a quiet June, where real NFL news is hard to find, Penix keeps making noise. And for good reason. I've followed him since his days at Washington, and let me tell you, this guy was criminally underrated. His arm talent? Special. His leadership? Unshakable. The two things people held against him were his age and his injury history. And sure, those are valid concerns. But let's be honest, those are risks with every young QB. Nobody's guaranteed a perfect bill of health. As for age, that's not the red flag people think it is. He's not 20 or 21, sure, but 24 or 25 is still young in today's NFL. Quarterbacks are playing better, smarter, and longer than ever. Just look around the league. Many of today's best QBs are in their 30s, still dominating. If Penix can give us 13 to 15 great years, even if it's not 18 or 20, that's still a franchise cornerstone. Atlanta, you finally have someone worth building around. And this time, it feels real. Do you believe in Michael Penix Jr.? Drop a comment below and rate your confidence in him from 1 to 10. Could he be our next superstar? Or is the hype too much too soon? Let your voice be heard. The Penix era is just getting started. Numbers don't lie, and neither does the film. While Michael Penix Jr. doesn't have a mountain of NFL stats yet, the signs are all there. If you blink, you might miss it, but a star is forming right before our eyes. Let's break it down. Let's be real. Michael Penix Jr. doesn't have a massive resume in the NFL yet. But the few glimpses we have seen, they speak volumes. RG3 himself, yes, Robert Griffin III, just went public, tweeting that Penix could be this year's breakout star. That's not just hype, that's coming from a former QB who knows what greatness looks like. Now let's dig into the details. Penix only started 3 games last year. That's not a lot. No one's pretending it is. He didn't throw for 10 touchdowns or put up wild numbers in those appearances. His first pass in the Broncos game was smooth, confident, but again, limited reps. So what's all the excitement really about? It's about what we saw between the stats, because when you go deeper and look at the advanced analytics from those snaps, it's shocking who Penix ranks next to. We're talking about names like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Statistically, in key metrics like accuracy, air yards, and pressure throws, Penix was right up there. It's wild, but it's also very, very real. And here's what matters even more. He didn't change who he was. A lot of quarterbacks, when they jump from college to the NFL, start playing it safe. Coaches get nervous, try to protect them, and what made them special starts getting stripped away. That energy, that spark, that fearless style, gone. Replaced by safe, boring checkdowns, but not Penix. Even in limited action, you could see it. He still had that fire. He still pushed the ball downfield. He still took deep shots when he saw a window. And that's exactly what he did best at Washington. That deep ball, that's his weapon. That's what made him a monster in college. And to see him bring that same weapon to the NFL without hesitation, that's huge. It shows confidence. It shows trust. And it shows this coaching staff isn't trying to water him down. They're letting him be him. And Falcons fans, that should have you pumped. Imagine if the Falcons had told Penix, no deep throws, just short passes over the middle, no risks. That would have been a disaster. You don't draft a gunslinger and then clip his wings. I was just reading this article on The Athletic, and it talked about how Daniel Jones lost his edge with the Giants. The coaches tried to make him play a style that wasn't his, and it broke him. That can't happen to Penix. But right now it looks like the Falcons are doing the opposite. They're setting him up to fly. Do you want to see Penix unleash that deep ball this season? Type AR it out in the comments if you're ready to see him let it fly. And let me know, is the coaching staff making the right call by trusting his big play instincts? The real question isn't can Michael Penix Jr. shine, it's will the coaching staff let him? Because talent alone isn't enough. The scheme, the decisions, the clock management, they all matter. And Atlanta's past mistakes? They're still fresh in our minds. Let's take a second to remember what happened to Daniel Jones, once full of promise. Then came the system, the wrong voices, the wrong plays, the wrong coaching. Jason Garrett and the old Giants regime, you know, the one led by that forgettable head coach from New England, turned a quarterback with fire into a check-down machine. They stripped him of what made him dangerous, and he never fully recovered. Why does this matter? Because that's exactly what the Falcons cannot do to Michael Penix Jr. When people ask me, do you think Penix is going to be a star? My answer is a firm yes. Not because I'm guessing, because I saw it. You saw it. He was electric at Washington, a Heisman runner-up, a deep ball assassin with poise, power, and precision. And when he stepped onto the NFL field last year, he didn't flinch. He didn't fold. In fact, he looked like the same guy from college. Same arm, same fearlessness, same swagger. That's why the Falcons took him 8th overall. Not to babysit him, not to hold him back. They drafted him to let him rip. And now for the first time, he has an entire offseason to work with the starters every single day. He's building chemistry with Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Kyle Pitts. That timing, that trust, that rhythm, it's all getting built now in the heat of summer, and that's what will explode this fall. But here's the part that makes fans nervous, the coaching. Will Raheem Morris manage the clock right? Last season, there were moments that made us all want to scream, wasted timeouts, letting precious seconds tick off the clock. That can't happen again. Not with a weapon like Penix under center, and Zach Robinson, he's got to evolve. Last year, things got way too predictable. Every time Cousins dropped back to pass, it was pistol. Every time they ran, shotgun. Opponents saw it coming from a mile away. That can't be the plan with Penix. We need creativity. We need balance. We need aggression. Because if the Falcons let Penix be Penix, if they build around his strengths instead of forcing him into a mold, we're not just talking about a decent year. We're talking about a franchise quarterback taking over the NFC South. That's why I'm fired up. That's why this episode matters. This isn't just blind hype because it's the off-season. This is two things coming together. A small but powerful sample of real NFL action that shows us what Penix can be. And serious believers like RG3, who've watched the film, seen the traits, and know this kid has it. This isn't empty June talk. Do you trust this coaching staff to let Penix play to his full potential? Drop your answer in the comments. Yes, if you believe, or no if you're still worried. And tell me, what's your confidence level from 1 to 10 on Penix taking over in 2025? You don't fix what isn't broken, you fuel it. And Michael Penix Jr.? He's not just a project, he's a foundation. And 2025 might be the year he takes the league by storm. Look, I've watched a lot of quarterbacks, and I've seen what greatness looks like early on. Sometimes it's in the stats, sometimes it's in the mechanics, but most of the time, it's in the eye test. And with Penix, The eye test screamed one thing. This is a quarterback who knows exactly who he is and isn't afraid to play that way. In the small handful of snaps we got last season, Penix looked confident, controlled, and fearless. Not a guy trying to fit into someone else's system. Not a rookie playing scared. He played the position just like he did at Washington. Calm, aggressive, and with fire in his throws. And that's why I'm so excited for 2025, because this coaching staff didn't come in and try to gut him. They didn't take a sledgehammer to his style. They didn't tear down the house and rebuild it with safer, slower, more NFL-friendly plays. Number. They kept the structure. They respected the blueprint. Sure, maybe they painted a few walls or moved some furniture, but they didn't change the foundation. They didn't touch the DNA of what makes Penix dangerous. And that's the smartest thing this franchise could have done. Now imagine this: a full off-season, a full playbook, full command of the huddle, and a team built around his strengths. Not watered down, not controlled, but unleashed. That's the version of Penix we could be watching this year. And I'm putting myself out there when I say this, but I really believe the game he played in college, the version of himself that made him a Heisman finalist, it's going to translate. It already started to. And in 2025, it's going to show up in wins. That's where the jury will decide, not in hot takes, not in clickbait, but on the scoreboard. So now it's your turn. Do you believe Penix is the real deal? Rate your confidence in him from 1 to 10 in the comments. And tell me this: what part of his game excites you most? The deep ball, the toughness, or just the attitude? This is your team. This is your quarterback. Let's talk about it. Down arrow fire.